good, YouTube? It's your boy Bonnie coming back at y'all with another video. So, in this video, man, I want to talk about not missing out on anything. Stack your bread. You know, a lot of people have FOMO. I was one of those people, especially 18, 19, 20, you know, a little bit of 21. I wanted to be everywhere. I wanted to be at the function. I wanted to be drunk. I wanted to be out of my mind, man. And I feel like that's typical for, you know, that age range. Once you get to like 20, you know, 21, 22, it's time to chill. It's time to chill. It ain't all about partying. It ain't all about going out and having fun. You got to miss out on that fun. You have to. You have to. And I ain't gonna lie. When I used to go to those parties, guess what? Sometimes I didn't have fun. Sometimes it used to be not fun. So don't even look at it as you're missing out on fun. You're missing out on nothing. You're not missing out on anything. The parties, the spending money, the bottles, the za, nothing. You're not missing out on anything. If you're saving money, you have more money. If you have $1,000 in your savings account, you have more money than most Americans. You have more money than, I think it's 96% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings. That's crazy. Or maybe that's humans, but that's crazy. So if you have enough money to saved up to call yourself, you know, have an emergency fund, you know, being able to do this without looking at your bank account, you're off to the right track. But I want to get on here and say, if y'all can, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for all the love. Let's hop straight into this topic, though. Stop comparing your life to everybody else's. Everybody else isn't you. You think like you. You think different. You think different than anybody else. I want you to realize that. So, and if you have a friend group, they can all think the same and you think different. But they're still your friends because that's basically who you grew up with. That's who you associate with. Cool. Put them on the back burner. Put yourself first. You put yourself first, you're going to stop comparing yourself to everybody, because comparison is the thief of joy. If you keep comparing yourself, you're never going to be satisfied. You know, you have to sacrifice your current situation because it has a purpose. It has a purpose. You're not saying no to everything forever. You're just saying no right now. And, you know, that might go on for 10 years. You might be 20 years old telling everybody no, 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 no. Can I get $1? No. Can I have 20? No. You just say no. Because guess what? When you're 30, you'll be rich. You'll be able to give people, you know, $20 bill, $100 bill. And that won't hurt you. That won't affect you as bad as when you're 20 trying to give people handouts. You know, you're working on yourself. Work on yourself. Give handouts later. Remember, you always have later to give handouts. Even if it's not to that person specifically, if you get rich, guess what? You can give those handouts out. So take care of yourself. You know, going out every weekend adds up. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I used to be a partier. You know, 18 to 21, I was in the clubs. I was in the bars. I was going to the parties. You know, that $100 to $200 that I was spending every week, I didn't think was that significant. But let me have put that into an investment account. Let me have put that into my savings account every single week. You know, in college, you really get $100 and you feel like you got to go out and spend that because, you know, you don't touch money that often, or like you're just broke in college. So every time I touched some money, I would go out and spend it. No, I don't think you should never do that. You should, if you have extra money left over, you should never spend it on yourself. You should spend it on your savings account. I truly believe that. But that's just the mindset that I have since I turned 22, you know, since I learned, hey, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. You know, you don't need to prove that you have money. One of the biggest financial mistakes is spending money just to look like you have money. I ain't gonna lie. Talking to one of my homeboys the other day, he talked about, I just want to look rich. I don't even want to be rich. I just want to look rich. And I looked at him, I'm like, are you serious? Like, you don't actually want to be rich. You don't want money. You don't want to walk around and you know you got more money than everybody in the room. Like, that would be a great feeling to me. Like, dang, I'm really the richest in the room. I really got a lot of bread compared to these other people, you know. And I really did that myself. I really tried different things and was doing it all myself. It's just little things like that, you know. Learn to be boring. Enjoy the boringness. There's nothing wrong with working, going home, saving, investing, and repeating the process. Being boring can put you in positions most people would never reach. No, I'm telling you, 99% of people will never work 90 days straight. Go look at my channel. I've done it twice, 90 days. 90 days of working straight. That's 6 months of my life I will never get back that I dedicated to working, to just working. And that's all because I want a better future for myself. I'm not greedy with my money. I need money. I know that, but I'm not greedy with it. I'm not starving for it, but I am starving for that freedom. You feel me? So it's not the money part as much as the freedom part, you know? And at the end of the day, I really had to learn, you know, my friends aren't going to pay my bills. They're never going to pay my bills. First of all, they don't care enough, you know? Your friends will ask you to go out when you're on your last dollar. And they're not doing it on purpose. You know, they just want to have fun with you. But it doesn't matter. You know, hey, I got to save, man. And even if you aren't on your last dollar, if you're on your last $10,000, you still got to save, you know? Because a night out can easily be $100 to $200. And now you're at $9,800, which is still a decent amount of change. But, you know, you could have used that $200 for future investments, future opportunities. Stuff like that. That's how I really think about money. Like, oh, I'm spending this $200 on this, man. If it doesn't go towards my business, my content creation, or, you know, any financial literacy, trying to get better, you know, learn a little bit more, I don't want to spend money on it. And that goes for going out to get fast food, like I said, partying, you know, even, you know, you go to get gas, you stop at the gas station, you go get a few snacks, $10, $14, you know. It's just little things like that people don't realize. You know, you're doing this thing that's $14, you're doing this thing that's $20, you're doing this thing that's $10, you're doing this thing that's, you know, $40. All of those add up. You don't realize how fast your bank account depletes when you're doing different activities. I promise you don't. But your friends don't either. You know, they can see their bank account, they can't see yours. They just see you having fun, a night out, whole time you're stressing. Don't even put yourself through that stress. Just save your money. Just keep your money in your pocket. You know? And I had to realize, you know, social media made me feel like I was missing out, like I was behind. Don't let social media fake it to you, man. Social media is fake. You know, you can see what you see, you can believe what you want to believe, but I don't. I believe that, you know, a lot of people that come on here and try to claim that they have so much money just don't. You know, I don't claim to have that much money. I claim to be financially literate. You know, that doesn't mean I make a lot of money. That doesn't mean I have a lot of money. That means I can save money. I can go, you know, weeks without spending money. Literally, weeks without spending money. I can go, you know, I've literally went a whole month not spending no money. 3 months not spending no money. Just paying my bills every month. Paying my bills, not spending any extra. It's a hard process to live by, but if I could do it, you could do it, you know? And I ain't gonna lie, I missed out on that fun, which was really nothing because I was grinding, because now I have more money than everybody who was going to have fun. You feel me? So, build your emergency fund up. You know, I always like to say, an emergency fund is anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. That's your emergency. You know, if things go to shit, you got some money in your pocket that you can hear. My car, that combobulator on the transmission needs to be replaced. Here, that roof needs to be replaced on the house. Here, you know, stuff like that. You get into a car accident, you got $5,000 to go get a new whip. Just little stuff like that. Just that emergency fund will help you save money. Having money sitting in the bank gives you breathing room. Instead of panicking when something goes wrong, you have money available to handle it. And I always think that's one of the best feelings in the world. You know, yes, handing over money and a lump sum, it sucks. It's always gonna suck. You know, no matter what you're doing. You know, went out and bought a truck last week. It was a little hoopty truck, but you know, I spent $900 on it. That was a lump sum to me. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but it's for my business. It's for, you know, different opportunities. So I was like, all right, let's just take the chance. Sometimes you got to take a risk, you know. You know, it can pan out, it cannot pan out. Who knows? But that's why you got that emergency fund. You know, I spent $900. Now I still got, you know, $4,100 that's still in my emergency fund. Now I can build this back up, build this emergency fund back up. You know, by my next paycheck, that emergency fund will be back at $5,000. Just little stuff like that. You know, stack before you upgrade, before you get the nicer car, the expensive clothes, bigger apartment, or, you know, luxurious lifestyle. Make sure your financial foundation is strong. Stand on it. Make sure, you know, you want to go get that car. How fast can you make that money back to get that car paid off? How fast can you make the money back to get those expensive clothes paid off? If the answer is over 2 days, you can't get it. I'm not gonna lie, you can't get it. You know, if you're going to work and you don't even crack $200, you can't afford anything. I'm just being straight honest with you. Don't upgrade your lifestyle until, you know, you upgrade. Stack before you upgrade. Stack that money. That money is not going anywhere. And once you put it away, nobody's taking it from you. Nobody's trying to get it. Just put it away. And always remember what you're working towards. Your goal isn't just to have money sitting in your account. You're buying freedom. The more you stack, the more choices you eventually have. Remember, all of this is I'm not going to lie. A lot of people say, well, I want to enjoy my 20s. I want to enjoy my 20s. I would love to enjoy my late 20s. You know, I feel like this is the time where you have to work on yourself. What sense does it make for us to, everybody that's 20, you know, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, what sense does it make for us to be going out and partying every single week when we're literally on the, you know, peak in our life, peak anything, peak mental, peak physical, peak everything. You're as best as you're gonna be. You know, maybe you could get a little bit smarter, but from a physical standpoint, you're as best as you're gonna be. You might as well try to make something shake right now before you get to your 30s and try to make something shake, and now you're struggling because, like, I don't know, you can always get rich at any age, you know, 30, 40, 50s, but I would love to get rich by 28. 28's the goal for me. 28 is the true goal. I want to be rich by 28. That's in 5 years. Can I make it happen? I believe so. And guess what? If I can become rich at 28, bam, I'm still in my 20s. I can enjoy life. I can travel. And I can say I did it, you know, before I turned 30. And those are the little goals that just set people apart. So remember why you start, you know, going towards this goal. You're not missing out. You're just in a different season than everybody. While everybody else is trying to show the world what they have, you're quietly building something that they can't see, something that they will never see. The party will still be there. Like I said, when I turn 28, guess what? I'm going to have the time of my life. The money you spend won't. That money, if I would have spent all my money every week going out from 20 to 25, and then I ask myself, I look up and be like, dang, why am I broke still? It's because I spent money every weekend. I don't want to do that. Stop doing that. Stack first, enjoy the results later. Like I said, by 28, I want to be rich. If you're, you know, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 5 years. If you follow my journey, you're going to see. But that's really all I got for the video, man. Stack that bread, man. You're not missing out on nothing. Nothing at all. Stack your paper. But that's all I got for the video. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. If y'all can like, comment, subscribe, I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.